Hey there nation, welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander CheapSkate, and we are back with another edition of the Underhive Wars. This is our series of Necromunda battle reports for our Dominion campaign for Sector number 7, and this one is a very special scenario, and the reason why is because we are playing a shootout scenario. Now I'm not sure if you guys remember this or not. For those of you who are long-term viewers of the channel, you will remember our original Necromunda series, Tales from the Underhive. And one of the most famous and favorite of the scenarios that we loved playing for that campaign was the old school shootout scenario. Now, in case you're unfamiliar what a shootout scenario is in Necromunda, pretty much it's like something out of a spaghetti western. Both gangs get a random number of fighters, they line up right across from each other in an open space, they slowly march towards each other, and they take a test to see if anybody breaks. And the first guy who breaks, fails their initiative tests, they all draw their guns, they open up on each other, they shoot at each other like a good old-fashioned Wild West shootout. And these things are always highly entertaining to see exactly how these play out. And my two friends, Warlord Ace and Scream of the Emo, saw that the new shootout rules are out from Necromunda, and they wanted to play that scenario. So that's exactly what we're going to do on this one. So my friend Warlord Ace is bringing 9/11 of House Van Saar versus my other friend Scream of the Emo of the Red Faction from the Genestealer Cults. So both these gangs will be shooting it out in a shootout scenario. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to play some background music real quick. If you want to see exactly what each of the gangs is bringing, go ahead and pause and take a look at your own leisure. So that being said, let's get this battle report on a roll. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time to talk about the scenario rules. As you can see, my friends are lined up right across from each other on the lonely road. So because of that, let's talk about the scenario rules real quick. So like I said before, the shootout, how it works is that the gangs slowly advance towards each other 3 inches at a time. As they do so, both gangs roll cool checks for each of the fighters that they have in their gangs. And then they advance force 3 inches towards their opponent. Basically what happens is that every single time a gang member fails a cool check, you add up the total. And basically the first gang that fails 6 cool checks in all, fails the cool checks for their gang, then they didn't go quickly to the quick draw phase. Once you get to the quick draw phase, all the gang fighters take initiative tests for each of the fighters, adding +1 to their bonus rolls if they're carrying sidearms, and -2 if they're using unwieldy weapons. And then of course they shoot at each other like in a Wild West shootout as normally. Now once that shootout ends, normal rules apply from Necromunda, so in which case guys then charge and they fight and do everything else. We have end phases and everything else like that. Now the reward for this scenario is that you get d6 times 5 credits for each enemy fighter that you take out of action in this scenario. Plus, each gang member that fights in this scenario earns 1 experience point, as well as every single fighter who doesn't fail a cool check, they get +1 experience point as well. When it comes to reputation, both gangs earn 1 reputation point for fighting each other, and nobody loses in reputation points. So that's the nice thing about a cool check, nice thing about a shootout scenario. Now, for the gang that wins, that didn't fail their cool tests, whatever the difference is between the number of cool checks they failed versus their opponents, the gang that doesn't lose their cool, they get that many points of reputation for keeping their heads, and so that's how it works for the scenario. So that being said, let's go and talk about deployment real quick. Alright, so let's talk about the deployment for 9/11 of House Van Saar. On the left hand side, that is Tough Shakes. He's a ganger armed with a last pistol as well as a chainsword. Up in the center there, that is Busted 9, that is the leader of 9/11. He's carrying a combo laser, which is a combination of laser rifle as well as a plasma gun. He also has a last pistol as well, if I remember correctly. On the right hand side, that is Rune Dog, which is a Juby who's armed with twin last pistols. And these are the 3 fighters that will be fighting for 9/11 on this shootout scenario. And my friend Scream of the Emo for his Red Faction, he has 4 fighters on this one. On the top left, that is Benjamin Marsh. He is a hybrid alkalite. He's got an out pistol as well as a fighting knife as well as a 3rd arm. After that, to the right hand side is Obed Marsh, the gang leader. He's an alpha who's armed with an auto gun as well as a cult icon. He also has a 3rd arm as well. Next to him on the right hand side, that is Zadok Allen, who's an aberrant who's equipped with mesh armor as well as a power hammer. And the far right hand side, that is Innsmouth, which is a neophyte hybrid who's armed with a chain sword as well as an auto pistol. And that makes up the the deployment for Scream of the Emo. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go real quick and play the background music building up to the quick draw. That way you guys can see exactly what the gangs are doing as they're heading towards each other. In the back of each of the gangs, you will find a bright yellow D6 that tells you how many cool checks they have failed leading up to the shootout. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's put on some background music real quick and let the shootout begin. Alright, so with the build-up over with, the cool test finally resolved, the shootout order actually went with CheapSkate going first, followed by Buss9 as well as Open Marsh moving simultaneously. After them was Innsmouth as well as Benjamin Marsh. After that was Runedog, followed by Zadok Allen. So as you can see in this photo, a lot of chaos really took place for the most part. During the shooting, first thing that happens is that CheapSkate managed to hit my gang leader, Open Marsh managed to hit him as well. Unfortunately for him though, he was unable to wound him, but he does pin him, which also caused him to kind of lay down at that point. After that, Open Marsh, he does try to get back up on his feet again to shoot again. He does manage to hit Buss9, and Buss9 managed to hit him as well, but they were unable to wound each other. So because of that, they both just kind of went back on the ground, both being pinned at that time. Innsmouth then opened fire upon CheapSkate, managed to put him down as well, also causing a serious injury in the process of doing that. And then finally, Runedog opened up on my gang members, weren't able to do anything for that part. And I forgot to mention that Innsmouth also failed his ammo check during the shooting, so because of that, he is out of ammo at this point. Alright, so with that, it takes directly to the top of turn number 1 for House Van Saar. They managed to take the initiative on this one. The first thing that my friend Warlord Ace does is activate his gang leader Buss9, who then also activates both CheapSkate as well as Runedog. First of all, first thing he does first is he actually sends CheapSkate back about 2 inches because he is seriously injured. He doesn't want to get charged and put out of action with a coup de grace to the head. At the same time, he also charges forward with his juvie Runedog. Runedog charges across the battlefield towards Benjamin Marsh, so because of that, the two of them will be engaged in close combat, juvie versus my Acolyte hybrid, which is kind of risky for my opponent. At the same time, he also takes aim with his gang leader with his combo las. He has a combination of a plasma gun as well as his last gun, and he takes aim at my aberrant Zadok Allen and opens up with a plasma gun on him. Needless to say, that plasma gun did its job. I think it managed to hit him twice and wound him twice as well, and that put Zadok Allen directly out of action, so that part was horrific, losing my aberrant just like that, because that guy's a beast in close combat. That could have really helped out since everyone's fighting in such close quarters together. I do manage to pass my coolest test for all the rest of my gang members after watching the aberrant getting destroyed, so that's the silver lining in the cloud, I suppose. However, during the fighting portion between Runedog as well as Benjamin Marsh, things did not go well for my friend Warlord Ace. Scream of the Emo activated Benjamin Marsh, and his Acolyte hybrid just tore apart that poor juvie with no problem. Because that character has a fighting knife as well as auto pistol, he also has a third arm with rending claws. So because of that, that guy has 3 attacks while Runedog only has 2. So he managed to, not only did he take that guy down and cause a serious injury to him, but I think he also put him out of action as well, if I remember correctly. Or I'm sorry, no, he just managed to put a seriously injured table on him. That's right. So he will need to roll up on this injury table to see exactly what happens to him. Needless to say, in all the excitement, I forgot to take the end phase for both of my friends, so I do apologize for that. Just to let you guys know what ended up happening, what's his name, Runedog rolled up a serious injury table, rolled out of action, so because of that, he'll need to roll up on the serious injury table to see what happens to him, while CheapSkate still rolled seriously injured, so he's still down. So because of that, we go directly to the top of turn number 2 for the Genestealer Cults, and the first thing that my friend does is activate his gang leader, who then also activates the other 2 fighters that are within 3 inches of him. First of all, the thing that he does first, he charges forward with Innsmouth. He charges directly into CheapSkate, which is a good idea, because that way you can take him out with a coup de grace and finish him off that way. At the same time, he then also takes aim with his gang leader as well as Benjamin Marsh, and have them both open up with both their auto guns as well as their auto pistol against Bust-a-Nine. They only managed to cause a flesh wound on that guy and also managed to put him down as well, so because that he is seriously injured. Now, if you're wondering why nobody charged, here's what happened. I made a mistake earlier when I reported it. The first thing that ended up happening is that Runedog did not go out of action. He was just seriously injured. So my friend, Scream of the Emo, then activated Benjamin Marsh and then put him out of action using a coup de grace. That's the reason why he had to shoot him with a pistol, because he couldn't charge at him because that requires a double movement. At the same time, my friend, his gang leader, also had to spend a turn getting back on his feet again because he was pinned as well, so that didn't work out for him too well. However, for Innsmouth had no problem finishing off Tough Shake, so because of that, Tough Shake goes directly out of action with a coup de grace move, and that takes us directly to the end phase. So, needless to say, during the end phase, my friend Warlord Ace does fail his bottle test, so he will need to take a cool check for his leader to see if he flies off the battlefield, if he manages to survive to the next turn. And of course, my friend Scream of the Emo also failed his bottle test as well, because, you know, let's face it, you only have a handful of fighters on the table, and losing one will definitely put you over the edge. So with the end phase over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 3, and we roll for initiative to see who goes first. So on the top of turn number 3, the Genestealer Cults get to go first, and the first thing that they do is they charge forward directly into, Bust-a-Nine. Benjamin Marsh is within 3 inches of Obed Marsh, so because that, the two of them do charge forward, and they do engage Bust-a-Nine into close combat. And of course, during the close combat phase, they also decide to use a coup de grace, and they also manage to put Bust-a-Nine out of action. And as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, that takes us directly to the end of the game. The Genestealer Cults managing to win this one, and my friend, the Scream of the Emo, as well as the Red Faction, managed to secure their very first win for our Dominion campaign. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go directly to the post-game and talk about exactly what happened to each of the gangs, because this battle report is now officially over. Alright, so starting off with 9/11, when it comes to their injuries, Bust-a-Nine, Tough Shakes, as well as Runedog were all out of action, so they had to roll up on a serious injury table to see what happens to them. Bust-a-Nine receives a grievous injury, so because of that he will miss out in the next scenario, whereas Tough Shakes earned a humiliated injury, so because of that he has -1 to his leadership as well as to his cool. Meanwhile, Runedog rolled out cold, so he made a full recovery, no problem. As for advancements, there was enough experience points to be gained at this point, so there is no advancements. And when it came to the territory, the 9/11 did earn 60 credits from their settlement, so that part was kind of nice. At the merchant, my friend Warlord Ace purchased rag grenades for Mega Man as well as Runedog, and also purchased flak armor for Bust-a-Nine. When it comes to his reputation, he earns 1 reputation point for the scenario because you automatically get 1 right off the bat. He also got 1 reputation from his settlement as well, earning him a grand total of 3 reputation. His new record is at 0 wins as well as 1 loss, and his new gang rating now is at 1,060 points. Now for the Red Faction, Zadok Allen was the only injury on this one. That's his aberrant. So because of that, Zadok Allen does suffer a grievous injury, so he will need to roll up on the serious injury table to see exactly what happens to him. When it comes to the advancements, there is no advances for this gang at this time. My friend Scream decided to keep all the experience points until next time. From his territory, he does manage to earn 60 credits from his settlement, and at the end of this, he also captured mine workings and added to his territory as well. And he also managed to earn 60 credits from that territory, so which is pretty cool as well. From the merchant, he earned 45 credits from taking out 9/11, which netted him a total of 165 credits when you combine the other 120 credits he got from his territories. With all those credits, he hired an earlier generation hybrid acolyte named Cybin Black. He's got a 3rd arm as well as an auto pistol as well as a fighting knife. He also transferred the cult icon to that gang member of his gang. And he also purchased 3 stub guns for Obed Marsh and equipped him with dum-dum bullets as well, because Obed Marsh is going to carry 3 pistols. When it comes to his reputation, he earned 1 reputation point from the scenario, plus 2 reputations for keeping cool for the end of the scenario. He won by a difference of 2 points, so 2 more additional reputations added to that. He earned +1 reputation from his settlement, and also 2 reputation points from his mining works, because while the mining works has an enhanced boon for Orlocks, and in the campaign system they said that Genestealer Cultists count as Orlocks, and that's why he got the additional 2 reputation points. So Scream of the Emo's gang is currently sitting at 7 reputation points in total. His new record is at 1 win as well as 0 losses, and his new gang rating is at 1,175 points. So that's good for this one, you guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Google+, as well as blogger.com for all these greatest news about the hobbies that we're doing on this channel. That's good for this one, you guys. You guys stay classy. We will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.